What's going on, guys? HLO86 here. Um, I just want to go ahead and show you guys my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles um, Playmates reissue line that I have so far. Recently, Playmates has re-released a lot of their original turtle figures from the 80s, which I think is pretty cool because, I was born in 86. So I grew up with the original Ninja Turtle cartoon and the original figures. Um, some of you may or may not know this, but currently Target and Target.com, they're selling a lot of these reissue figures. So is Amazon.com and Go Calendar and Games. Um, Go Calendar and Games are very popular in outlet malls and shopping malls as well. So I have Donatello. Looks very similar to the Donatello that we grew up with in the 80s. The way that his head looked, like when I first picked Donatello up, I thought that his head was a squishy plastic. I don't know if you guys remember growing up with these figures, but when Playmates released the first batch, like the first line came with squishy heads. But then they transitioned. They're having their figures having hard plastic heads later on. But yeah, if you look closely, it looks like it kind of gives the illusion like it is soft plastic, squishy. Got Leatherhead here. Um, Looks pretty good. I keep knocking stuff over. Dang it! His mouth opens and closes. Kind of feel like though his mouth would open a little wider than that though. Huh. But still pretty good. Put Donatello back up. That's you guys out there that collect action figures. You know that happens. You touch one figure and it's like a domino effect sometimes. Okay, we got Leonardo right here. Even to the detail of the belt, it looks very similar to the original, to the originals. Krang and his bubbler. This was another favorite one I loved playing with as a kid. Michelangelo. Michelangelo is a party dude. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Foot Soldier. I got this Foot Soldier from Go Calendar and Games. Raphael. This Raphael is the version, the storage shell version, where you can just prop open his shell and put stuff in. I remember when the storage shell turtles came out, I was still living in Germany because my dad, he was in the army and we were stationed in Germany at the time. So I remember when this batch of the turtles came out, I was like freaking out. I'm like, oh man, this is so cool. I can prop open up, this turtle's shell and put its weapons in there. And then that's just awesome. So I kind of feel like, obviously the first batch of turtles were these. And then down the line, they came out with those. And I really like the detail how they have the gums showing with the teeth. So that's pretty cool. I have supervillain Bebop. with his little rabbit on steroids, I guess. I think that's a rabbit. Um, we got Rocksteady, supervillain Rocksteady, back there. Um, his gums are exposed too. So back here is April O'Neil. Now this is pretty interesting because this April sculpt looks very similar to the sculpt that the second issue figure that they released for April O'Neil in the 80s, where she had a yellow jumpsuit, but it was yellow and orange, and she had orange boots. Um, I think this might be the same sculpt for that figure, just repainted. Because I know that Playmates, they're making some of these reissues, they're repainting them to look like how a certain character looked um, in the Archie comic turtle series. So that's pretty interesting that Playmates is doing that. Got her standing there with her camera, and her microphone's back there somewhere. There it is. We got Shredder. Let me do this. Something else that Playmates is doing with these reissues, which I think is pretty neat, is that they're painting in more details this time around. Like if you look at Shredder's eyes, they're white, and you see the white and black. But the in original figures that we grew up with in the 80s, guys, Shredder's eyes were not white. Well, that area that's white, that used to be tan. And all you could see was like his black pupils. So I kind of feel like that's pretty awesome that Playmates did that. That they're painting in more detail. It's the same with Splinter. Like that used to be all white, but now they painted the pupil black this time around. So he's got his little bow and arrow, his buck teeth. So Hamato Yoshi. Put him back there. So I got Wingnut and Screw Loose. This is the first time that I own Wingnut and Screw Loose. I did not own this figure growing up. I remember a long time ago, my mom and dad took me to Toy Works. I don't know if you guys remember Toy Works, but they were very similar to Toys R Us and KB Toys, and they were really popular in the 90s and early 2000s. No, wait a second. Oh, was Toy Works still around in the early 2000s? Oh. Anyways, Toy Works was an awesome toy store. And I remember I had Wingnut in my hand, and my mom and dad wanted to buy him for me. But for some reason, I changed my mind and I didn't get him. So it's cool to have Wingnut in my collection. Got Screw Loose just chilling on his back there. Genghis Frog. He's got his shades there. His little shield and tongue gun. This figure was one of my favorites growing up. But this one I have here is not a reissue. It's one from 89, I think. 88, 89. I found them on eBay. And I bought it at a pretty decent price. But I have seen that Playmates has reissued Genghis Frog, because I saw a Genghis Frog a few weeks ago at Go Calendar and Games, and I believe at Target. So they did make a reissue of him. Back here we have Baxter Stockman. Very close to the original. I remember earlier in this video I mentioned to you guys how they, Playmates, has added paint details, but they've also taken some away. Like, you see that little syringe there? Originally, that was painted gray, and he used to have a gray outline trim on his lab coat, but they painted all that white this time around. Why Playmates did that, I don't know. But this is really not that big of an issue. And last but not least, we have, I'm going to show you guys a close-up of them. We have Mondo Gecko, another one of my favorites growing up. An original figure, this glove he's wearing was originally the color red. And his skateboard was originally green. Now, you may be asking again, why is it a different paint scheme? Similar to the April figure I have. It's the same reason. It's because Playmates, they're reissuing some of these figures and repainting them to look like the version of these characters of the Archie comics. So in the Archie comics, Mondo Gecko has a black glove and his skateboard is purple, not green. So that's what's going on with this figure. He still has his braces. I like that Playmates, for the nostalgia look, the skull is still a sticker. It's not painted on there, so I'm just kind of careful. I don't want to peel that sticker off. But I remember as a kid, it peeled off anyways. So something cool is that these wheels move on his skateboard. And I remember as a kid, I used to like push him around like the countertops in my old house and stuff like that. So in his tail, sorry guys, originally his tail used to be green and blue, but now it's all green. But it's not really a deal breaker. So yeah, so that's what I currently have for this reissue collection. Now, you can find the original Bebop and Rocksteady that they're reissued as well. It's just since I've have the super villain and the super villain Bebop and Rocksteady, it's just, why do I need the other two? Hopefully Playmate Toys reissues more of these. I would like to see a reissue of Rat King. I would like to see a reissue of General Drag, Napoleon Bonafrog, Usagi Yojimbo. That was one of my favorites. Another one of my favorites was Panda Khan. That'd be cool if they did a reissue of the Technodrome. Fingers crossed on that one, because in early March of this year, actually it was toward the end of March, excuse me, I went to GalaxyCon. It's basically like another comic book convention, and I found an original Playmates Technodrome, but it was over $900. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna drop almost $1,000 on something like that. And I know that Playmates has reissued some of the other vehicles, like the Party Wagon and the Turtle Blimp. You can actually find, if you go to your local Go Calendar and Games, you might find one. You might find a Turtle Blimp, and it should cost you about $40. So that would be cool if Playmates did reissue the Technodrome. But if they were to, I'll probably get it and do some displaying here. But if it's at a decent price. So anyways, guys, I just wanted to show off this collection to you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I see you guys next time. Peace.